Hello everyone, welcome to Engineering Explained channel. Here I am going to discuss the comparison of petrol and electric cars. And at the end, you'll come to know that why I choose petrol car over electric car. The points are to be considered, points are to be discussed, and later you can decide yourself which one is better. Kindly subscribe Engineering Explained channel. If you have subscribed, kindly share and comment. Petrol and electric cars offer distinct advantages and disadvantages. Petrol cars generally have lower initial purchase cost. Petrol cars have lower initial purchase cost and a wide variety of models you can get as per the customer requirement and more established refueling infrastructure. That advantage the petrol car is having. Electric cars on other hand are more environmentally friendly and have lower running costs due to cheaper electricity and maintenance, offer instant torque for acceleration. The quick acceleration and smooth operation of the electric car is there. Here, the some other points we'll consider for the comparison. The key parameters of comparison are first one is the cost. In that, initial purchase cost. Petrol cars typically have a lower initial purchase price than electric cars, especially for entry level models. Fuel or charging costs, petrol costs can fluctuate depending upon the country, depending upon the region wise, but always much higher than electricity. The petrol cost is much higher than the electricity for the particular distance of travel or a particular kilometer of the travel. Running cost, as the charging cost is less and less power required per kilometer of running, the electric cars have lower running costs and can offset the higher initial purchase price later during the further years. Maintenance, electric cars have fewer moving parts, leading lower maintenance needs and costs also compared to petrol cars. Second, environmental effect. Carbon emissions. Petrol cars emit carbon dioxide and other pollutants. And this is plays a very important role in the high dense areas like high dense cities like New Delhi. There the pollution is crossing the limit and the civilians staying there, those are the facing the some of the difficulties associated with this environmental pollution. In particularly in the denser city areas, the everyone need to prepare the electric cars EVs over the petrol or a diesel because concern to the emission, while electric cars have a zero tail line emissions. That was the reason. And overall carbon footprint. The overall carbon footprint of the electric cars depend on the source of electricity. That means electricity what we are going to generate. If that is from the uh, thermal power station, then the thermal power station is burning the coal and producing the pollution, and from that the electricity we are going to produce. It is anyhow indirectly it is producing the that pollution. The carbon footprint will be present, but if that is away from the city and in the city, inside the city, we are using the electric vehicle, then in the city where the pollution is not required, there it is not producing. But they are generally considered more environmental friendly than petrol cars. Because of that reason only, we can use in the city. There is the less pollution it will producing, and if you produce the electricity from the other sources like the idle energy, wind energy, solar, then this will be totally environmental friendly, and carbon footprint will be less, and the carbon credits the one country can earn and the global benefit that the country can have from this the EV utilization. Convenience, refueling or charging. Petrol cars can be refueled quickly at widespread petrol pumps. There are number of petrol pumps are located in all the regions. There easily we can get the refueling of the petrol. The charging electric cars can take longer time, about 6 to 8 hours. And nowadays, even though it is improved, minimum 2 hours of the charging is required for the electric cars. And presently, there are less number of charging stations, though charging infrastructure are improving. And within the range only, if you are going to travel, then it will be benefit. Otherwise, behind the range, if you want to travel that one, the time for the charging is required, as well as it also the finding of the charging stations the will be difficult. Charging infrastructure, the availability and accessibility of the public charging stations can vary significantly. That in certain locations, depending upon the number of cars uh, present in those areas, based on that, the charging infrastructure will be there, and that will be vary significantly from the region to region. Range, electric cars have limited driving range compared to petrol cars, especially with the older models. The range is usually varying from 300 to 500 kilometer for the normal cars. If you have the higher end of the cars, even the 700 kilometers of the range we are going to have. Fourth point, performance, acceleration. Electric cars offer instant torque, resulting in smoother and faster acceleration. The quick, the torque we are going to get, and also the smooth operation will be there. Top speed, petrol cars can often achieve higher top speeds than electric cars. Electric cars usually the top speed 115 to that 150, around that range the top speed will be there, but the petrol cars will have the around 400 to 500 the kilometer per hour top speed it will have. The fifth one point, other consideration what we can take, government incentives. The governments offer incentives to promote electric vehicle adoption, such as tax credits and subsidies for the EVs. Resale value, the resale value of electric cars is still developing, but presently it is lower, but it is developing, but it is expected to increase as technology advance. The battery technology and the charging technology, if you increase, then the resale value will be increased, but the petrol value is no compromise in the resale value. Maintenance, electric cars requires less maintenance due to fewer moving parts and no need for oil changes. Insurance, insurance premiums for electric cars may be higher, especially for newer models. Insurance will be EVs more. In conclusion, we can take that is the best choice between a petrol and electric car depends on individual needs and priorities. Petrol cars offer lower upfront cost and more established infrastructure, while cars are more environmental friendly and have lower running cost and offer instant acceleration. The benefits associated with this is we can compare, and based on that we can choose as per our requirement. There is a cost, what a cost wise if you are going to take that one, the petrol cars are having the benefits and established infrastructure we are having for the refueling and the maintenance and all the things. But electric cars, what is there, the more environmental friendly, the density is there we can use, and lower running cost, these benefits it will have, and offer instant acceleration also. Based on these points, the one can choose as per his requirement the which the vehicle he can have. Here, the one example I am going to take, the comparison with the running and maintenance only. The remaining the points I am not going to take. Based on that, the some comparison I'll give you this about the EV and that petrol cars. As EVs use electricity to charge batteries and domestic power tariffs ranging from 8 to 10 per unit, the monthly running cost is a fraction of the cost of petrol. So if you daily travel 30 kilometer, you will spend Rs 5375 a month on petrol. Okay, it is approximate cost at the particular city the petrol cost is considered. While the cost of charging an EV with battery capacity of 30.2 kilowatt hour and range of 312 kilometer will only be ARS 697. It is a much lower and it is the only fraction, as I have mentioned here, much fraction cost of the petrol. Running cost is much lower than the petroleum fuel cost. The second one is maintenance cost. The build of an EV car is such that you will spend less on servicing and upkeep also. It is estimated that around Rs 25,000 for maintenance of EV over the 5-year period compared with the petrol variant where you may spend Rs 7,000 to 10,000 per year. If you go for the 5-year, around it will be more than maintenance charge of the EV car. Compared to this running cost and maintenance cost only without taking the initial cost, we can have the advantage of less cost of the EV compared to the petrol charge. If you take the initial cost also, okay, that whatever the cost recovery is there, okay, that may takes the few years, and that comparison I'm going to take in the further session. Thanks for watching. If you like, share, subscribe, and comment.